Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Islamic Economic Series. Have you ever really stopped to think about our planet? Is it just a big collection of stuff for us to use and consume, or does it maybe represent something much, much deeper? Well, today, that's exactly the question we're going to dig into.
So here's the plan. We're going to kick things off by looking at the modern secular take on nature, which is often called a disenchanted worldview. Then we'll flip the script and see how that compares to the Islamic vision of a universe that's absolutely filled with signs. After that, we'll explore our role in all of this. Are we the master, or are we a steward holding a sacred trust? And of course, we'll look at the very different outcomes these two paths can lead to for our world.
All right, let's get into it, starting with that first worldview. Okay, so modern Western thought is really built on this process of secularization, right? And that has totally changed how humanity relates to the natural world. A huge piece of this puzzle is a concept called the disenchantment of nature.
But what does that really mean? Well, just imagine the world getting stripped of all its spiritual meaning, all its sacredness. It's reduced from this living, breathing creation with a real purpose to simply an object.
And this right here, this captures that shift perfectly. Nature becomes this lifeless object, and humanity kind of promotes itself to master. It's not seen as a creation with its own value anymore. Nope, its only purpose is to serve human wants.
So, the logical conclusion of thinking this way is that nature is just there for the taking. It becomes a pile of resources to be exploited for our material benefit. And the consequences? Well, they're all around us. This worldview has led to some of the most shocking destruction of our environment in all of human history.
So, that's the secular approach in a nutshell. Now, let's pivot and look at the Islamic perspective, which paints a completely different picture, a universe that's just brimming with signs.
This whole perspective kicks off with a really profound question. What if the universe isn't just some dead object waiting for us to use it?
I mean, really think about that for a second. What if we're not the masters of some inanimate thing, but we're actually part of a living, meaningful creation? See, in the Islamic worldview, the universe is anything but empty.
From this angle, the universe has multiple, deeply profound purposes. It's like a book of science, or ayat, all pointing to God's incredible existence. It's a gift for us to use, sure, but with respect. It's the source of our provision, and it's a way for us to get closer to our Creator. And this really highlights a key difference. Utilization is not the same thing as exploitation. It's all about care, respect, and following a divine will.
This huge difference in worldview naturally leads us to the most important question of all. If that's the case, what is our role in this creation?
So the secular view puts man up on a pedestal as master, with the final say on his own destiny. But in Islam, it's a completely different story. Our role is defined as Khalifah. We're not the master. We're a vicegerent, a steward who's been tasked with managing the world for its true owner, God.
And being a steward isn't just some fancy title. It's a huge responsibility. It's known as an Amanah, a sacred trust. Everything we have, our wealth, the environment, even our own bodies, it's all a trust from God that we're supposed to take care of.
And what's the whole point of a trust? Accountability. The concept of Amanah creates this really powerful framework where our actions have real consequences, not just here and now, but in the hereafter. We are absolutely answerable for how we handle this trust.
So, what we have are two totally different worldviews. And, as you can probably guess, they lead to two very, very different outcomes for our planet.
So on one side, you have the path of man as master. It's driven by this endless pursuit of material things, and it pretty much always leads to environmental destruction.
But then you have the other path, the path of man as steward, or Khalifah. And this path builds a foundation for what you could call Islamic environmental ethics, a whole system built on accountability and a deep sense of responsibility to the Creator for His creation.
So in the end, the worldview we choose is what determines our answer to this really fundamental question. And that answer? Well, it doesn't just shape our economies and our politics. It shapes the very future of the world that we all share. See you in the next one. Subscribe, like, and comment.